At 7:30 in the morning, the phone rang. No one answered. That alone wasn't strange. People sleeping on weekends. But then the phone rang again. And again. Still, no answer. Inside a quiet house on East Delmar Street in Springfield, Missouri, 3 women had vanished without a sound. No screams. No broken doors. No signs of a struggle. Just 3 purses lined up neatly as if their owners were planning to come right back. But they never did. This is the Springfield Three. A case so clean, so silent, and so controlled that even after more than 30 years, police still don't know who did it or how 3 women could disappear in the middle of the night without leaving a single trace behind. Welcome to Criminal Records, where we document real crimes, hidden motives, and the darkest truths behind ordinary lives. This story isn't loud. It doesn't rely on blood or chaos. It relies on absence, and that's what makes it terrifying. Springfield, Missouri was quiet in 1992. A mid-sized American town, safe neighborhoods, low violent crime, the kind of place where people left doors unlocked, where neighbors trust each other. Nothing about Springfield suggested it would become home to one of the most chilling disappearances in US history. And nothing about the women involved suggested they were in danger. Susie Streeter was 19 years old. She had just graduated high school. Friends described her as social, outgoing, and excited about the future. College plans, independence, a life just beginning. She lived with her mother at 1717 East Delmar Street. Stacy McCall, also 19, was Susie's close friend. She was known as kind, dependable, and cautious. The type of person who checked in with her parents and followed rules. That night, she planned to stay over at Susie's house. A normal decision, one she had made many times before. Cheryl Levitt, waiting at home, Susie's 47-year-old mother. She was practical, responsible, protective. She had spoken to a friend on the phone late that night, and nothing in her voice suggested fear. Nothing suggested danger. It was June 6, 1992, graduation night. Susie and Stacy were celebrating with friends, laughing, driving around town. Originally, the girls planned to stay at another friend's house, but that plan fell through. So instead, just after 2 a.m., they drove back to Susie's home. Neighbors later reported hearing a car door. Nothing unusual, no screams, no struggle. By 2:15 a.m., all 3 women were inside the house. That is the last confirmed moment anyone knows where they were. The next morning, Stacy's mother expected a call. It never came. Friends tried calling the house. No answer. Concerned, they drove over. The front door was unlocked. Inside, things looked normal. The television was on. The dog was roaming freely. Beds appeared slept in. Then someone noticed something unsettling. 3 purses, Susie's, Stacy's, Cheryl's, all lined up. Inside were wallets, cash, keys. This detail alone told investigators one thing. Whatever happened was not voluntary. No woman leaves her purse behind, not 1, and certainly not 3. Before police arrived, friends and family began cleaning. They wiped surfaces, did dishes, handled items. They thought they were helping, but unknowingly, they erased fingerprints, fibers, and evidence. By the time investigators arrived, the crime scene was compromised. From that moment forward, the case was already damaged. There were no broken windows, no forced entry, no blood, which suggested something disturbing. The women likely opened the door willingly. That means the person was someone they trusted, or someone who appeared harmless, or someone who had authority. And whoever it was had full control. Control over 3 people without violence. That takes confidence. That takes planning. Days later, the house phone rang. The answering machine recorded it. Heavy breathing, then silence. 3 calls. Investigators believe the caller may have been the person responsible, but before police could trace the calls, a friend accidentally erased them. Another piece of evidence, gone. Suspects, rumors, and false hope. Over the years, many suspects surfaced. A known criminal who lived nearby, a man who bragged about burying bodies, a serial offender passing through Missouri. One tip led police to excavate a hospital parking garage years later. Nothing was found. Every lead collapsed. Every theory ended the same way. Nothing. Many investigators believe this was not spontaneous. They believe it was planned, that the killer knew the layout of the house, entered calmly, controlled the women, removed them quietly, which means this person was not panicking, he was experienced. And if that's true, this likely wasn't his only crime. As days turned into weeks, the disappearance of Susie Streeter, Stacy McCall, and Cheryl Levitt began to change Springfield itself. At first, people believed answers would come quickly, that the women would be found, that someone would make a mistake, but they never did. Instead, fear settled in. Local news stations covered the case non-stop. Newspapers printed the same photographs again and again, the smiling faces of 3 women who had simply vanished. And slowly, people began asking a terrifying question. If this could happen to them, could it happen to anyone? Parents became stricter. Doors that were once left unlocked were now checked twice. Because this crime didn't feel random, it felt controlled. The silence from the house on East Delmar Street was especially unsettling. Investigators returned again and again, measured rooms, re-examined entry points, but the house refused to speak. No hidden evidence, no overlooked clues. It was as if the crime had never happened there at all. And that's what disturbed police the most, because crimes don't just erase themselves. Someone had been careful. Over time, investigators began to focus less on what happened and more on how it happened. How do you control 3 women without leaving evidence? How do you move them without witnesses? How do you leave behind purses, money, and keys, but take the people? The answers all pointed to one conclusion. This was not panic. This was not rage. This was planning. No bodies, no suspects, no closure. 3 women erased in one silent night. The Springfield Three case reminds us that the most terrifying crimes don't rely on violence. They rely on control. They rely on silence. And they leave nothing behind. Somewhere, someone knows what happened inside that house. Someone knows where they went. And until the truth is revealed, Susie Streeter, Stacy McCall, Cheryl Levitt remain frozen in time. 3 women who walked into a home one night and never walked out again. This was the Springfield Three, and this case is still open.